The police are probing what was alleged to be a shootout that ended in an accident in Montego Bay. A bus driver lost his life and also a shooter in that incident. I have new details to bring to you on that. This is Links 007 TV. Let's talk. And I'm about to discuss this on the program. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back and thanks for joining us for the program. Well, the images you're looking at on screen right now was an incident that took place on the outskirts of Montego Bay, Lilliput to be exact, in which police said it was a high-speed ensuing gun chase between two vehicles that ended the life of a bus driver you're seeing on screen there, and also another member that was alleged to be the shooter in this incident. So, we are going to divulge some details of this. So, cops probe deadly crash that took place in the second city, or on the outskirts of the second city. So, detectives attached to the Freeport Police Station or the traffic department in Montego Bay, St. James, are searching for answers behind the three-vehicle collision on Thursday, which claimed the life of two men and injuring a number of others. The deceased have been identified as 30-year-old Ricardo Gordon, a mechanic of Gulf Norwood and flanker in St. James. The other individual has been identified as 59-year-old Jeffrey Garwood, a tour operator of Florence Hall in Trelawney. A witness said that they saw a Toyota Mark X motor car closely following a Honda CRV being driven by Gordon along the Rose Hall main road. It is further reported that a Mark X slammed into the rear of the CRV, resulting in it losing control, and then this was the end of what really transpired there. So the CRV then collided with the highest tour bus being driven by Mr. Garwood. The CRV and the highest were reportedly ripped apart, and the victims or the persons in that vehicle sustained major injuries. Both men, along with the foreign nationals that were traveling inside the vehicle, were taken to hospital, which resulted in Mr. Gordon and Mr. Garwood not surviving the incident. So police right now have stated that they believe that this was linked to a previous shooting around 5 p.m. that took place in the Montego Bay area. And this was like a chase that was being done at the time. So one of the occupants of the car did was to hit the other one back in order to spin it out or spun it out of control. So police linked the shooting. So police linked the case to a previous shooting, I should say. The driver of the Mark X reportedly sped away. So investigators are trying to ascertain if the crash is linked to a shooting that took place in Norwood earlier that day. So reports by the police in that case are that shortly after 5 p.m., armed men carried out an attack on a roadside garage in Norwood, resulting in two men being shot and injured. The car then sped away from the scene. Meanwhile, Gordon relatives told reporters that they know that he was a loving, kind, and caring person who always tried to avoid trouble. But one of them also said that he had complained that his life was being threatened by men in Norwood. So, one of the victims in this horrific accident and shootout said that someone was after him. And this might have resulted in what took place in Norwood, a shooting incident that took place earlier in the day, and it was a high-speed chase. So what I'm told was that sometime in the afternoon, someone traveling this vehicle went to an area in the Montego Bay section of the island and opened fire on a group of men, and that would have been one of those vehicles that were involved in the accident. So what happened was that someone from that shooting gave chase at the shooter that shut up that garage. And it was like a movie scene being played out on the streets, leading on the outskirts of Lilliput in Montego Bay. Shots were being fired wildly, and people have to scamper for cover. Even other motorists that were on the road at that time had to seek evasive action just in order to protect themselves. It was like a movie scene being staged, but only thing that this movie, it was a real one. This was not no movie for the cinema. This was an actual event taking place on the streets. Now the police are carrying out the investigation, and it is said that the vehicle that hit the CRV that ended the life of the occupant of that vehicle sped off, unseen what transpired. And when we look on these images or these scenes of this, you can just see the impact of this accident. This was not no pain accident as some people would say. This was a high-speed chase that was taking place. And based on the magnitude and the extent of the damage, it is very clear that speeding was a contributing factor to this. Now this individual and this innocent bus driver carrying tourists, he was also taken out viciously in the bus. And when you look on the mangled remain of the bus, you can just imagine the impact of that accident. He was trapped inside the bus and he died on the spot. He was trapped in there for hours before he was able to be removed from it. And it's a sad situation, I'm telling you, very, very sad. Because just imagine you going about your normal business, traversing the streets, and then this man from nowhere is like he drop out the sky. He came out the blues and just ran inside your vehicle and just take your life just like that. Huh? Oh boy, I tell you, man, we have to be careful, and it's something that we need to look into. And when we analyze certain situation and what is going on around us, it's very clear that something needs to be done about this, and the police are carrying out an intensive investigation into the matter. But those that are responsible fled the scene, and just imagine tourists were in the bus that he was carrying. So he was like a tour operator doing his thing, trying to earn his honest living, and then this unfortunate situation took place, claiming the life of the innocent man. You don't know if this man had children or he had a wife, or we don't know, but you just know that he had family, and these family now right now are left with this unfortunate news, knowing that this gentleman was just out there trying to do what everyone should be doing, working for honest living. And then this unfortunate situation took place. So the police are continuing what they believe was a shooting that went wrong and a dramatic scene that played out in the Montego Bay area or on the outskirts. Now, I don't know if they're gonna be able to ascertain what really led to this or the real facts behind this, because based on what I'm told is that this was a shooting that went wrong and an ensuing chase that ended the life of the alleged shooter and also the bus driver. But what can I say? What is done, and it's a sad situation. Very, very sad. And I feel it especially for the driver of that bus, because when we look and see what transpired here, it's a situation that could have been avoided if someone had just stopped for a few minutes and just think about their life, think about their family, think about their friends, think about what's to come from this. Well, guess what? They went on a rampage and did what they had to do and tried to make their escape, and this transpired. Now, with that said, I know that there are many more incidents such as these to come, because I don't know what is going through the heads or the mind of this current generation And when we look on what is playing out right across the country, it's like something is totally wrong. I don't know if it is wrong with the minds of these individuals or their social upbringing, but something or somewhere along the line, I should say, something went wrong. Something is definitely wrong with this current generation. And I imagine, just imagine now, 10 years from now, if this current generation is like this. If this current generation is like this, what will happen 15 years from now, 20 years from now? It's gonna be a hard one to swallow. And it's a hard pill to swallow. But guess what? You have to do what you have to do. And you're out there, you're in the public space. All you can do is just be careful. And you can't be too careful, because how you gonna be too careful when you can just be caught up in a situation that you're not prepared for? But just know that life is not promised to you, it's not promised to me. So just live life, love and care for your families and your friends as much as possible, because you don't know the minute or the hour when something unfortunate can just happen, and your life is just taken uncalled for. I'm gonna leave this one now. So just thanks for watching again. Links to Blood 7 TV. Let's talk. And what can I say? Another sad situation coming outside of the Caribbean island. Have a blessed and productive day. Peace.